Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 216, Friday Night Lights. It's not Friday, it's Tuesday, but we're looking ahead to a big derby match on Friday. We haven't been here in a while, but we've got everything sorted. We're phase one of our studio, so we're looking forward to some exciting things in the future, but we've got the crew together. All five of us are here. We've got my brother in the backstage trying to handle some things for us, so we're ready to rock and roll. Before we go through the agenda, I want to welcome everyone back. I'll start from who arrived last, and I'm sure those of you who watch us frequently could guess who arrived last. Oscar, welcome back. He's a married man, but he's still the same. He's still always late.
Nice Christmas tree.
Guys, it's been a while, but I'm happy to be back here with you guys.
We're happy to have you. How does it feel to be married?
It's the same old. I mean, it doesn't change a thing. I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Kenny, how are you?
Good, guys. Good to be back.
Good to have you. Jason, welcome back.
How's it going, everyone?
Been a while. I feel like it's been a while since you've been here. And maybe it's been a while in general.
Yeah, it's been a year for me. So I couldn't make it to a few of these last year, but I'm trying to get back into the swing of things.
We got the band back together. And Bill, how are you?
Doing good. I mean, coming off of two pretty big wins, so can't complain.
Agreed.
Is this the first time? Is this the first time this year, all of us?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's why we're all here.
This
We got
season,
two
yeah.
W's.
This season, yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, it's been it hasn't been easy to get us all together. Today we've got we'll talk about Champions League. Benfica finally got on the board as it relates to the Champions League, so that's always a positive. We will talk about a stoppage time victory at the weekend against Nacional. Much needed 3 points that we needed, and we came away with it when most people thought we weren't. We will talk about the upcoming game on Friday. Lisbon Derby at home against Sporting. Two teams in completely different form, but as we know, these games are very different. They aren't always based on who is playing better at that moment. So we'll see how that turns out. We'll answer any questions you guys have in the comments, so please feel free to join the conversation. Let us know your thoughts, your feedback, controversies, conspiracy theories. We love all of that, so throw at us what you want. E para a malta que esteja a ver em português, esteja à vontade de participar aqui nesta nossa conversa. Deixem os vossos comentários, as vossas opiniões. Se desgostarem de um jogador ou tiverem uma opinião mais dura, esteja à vontade e iremos abordar as vossas questões. Let's start with 1-2 against Nacional. I know that everyone was kind of in and out. Some of you may have seen the full game. Some of you may not have. Kenny, I'll start with you. You were the most vocal in the group chat on Sunday or Saturday. I know I was with Bill at a birthday party. Was watching on my phone for most of it and then was driving home for the last 20 minutes. And I was saying off air that when we scored the 2-1, I hit my steering wheel so hard that I startled the kids in the back seat. They were like, what the hell is going on? So it was a big, important goal. But Kenny, give us your thoughts on that game. But before you do, I want to just run through the lineup quickly. So we had Trubin in goal. We had across the back, Dahl on the left, Otamendi, Antonio Silva, Dedic, Barrenechea, Auschwitz, Barreiro, Sudakov, Rodrigo Rego gets a start in the Portuguese league. It's the first start in the Portuguese league, and Pavlidis up top. Sudakov looked to be operating more kind of an essential center mid hybrid kind of role. I really liked him in that position. We'll get into that, but Kenny, lay it down for us.
All right. So I thought Benfica came out in the first half and had a slow start. I thought like a common theme that I've seen from the games that I've seen, and I haven't seen every game this year, that they gave away 45 minutes, not many opportunities, although I think Barreiro had one early in the first half.
was in the second half. It happened that he.
No, he had
No, I
one.
think he had a
He had one
shot.
like 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but outside of that, I can't really remember another opportunity. I mean, Pavlidis scored the one they called offsides, but I just felt like we were very stagnant again. Slow start, not many opportunities. Kind of the same theme that I've noticed this year. And the frustrating thing is that it took Nacional to score for us to kick it into high gear, and then you saw them creating chances and opportunities and putting the game, trying to go after the game. Now, I'll give them credit that in the past 2-3 years, there have been matches where we're down and we don't fight for the win, right? We're not creating chances. We're not on top of the other team to try to win the game. Where you did see that this time around, and you ended up getting not only the tie, but then the second goal to win it at the death, right? So I give them credit for pulling it off, but I don't understand why we need to be down for us to kind of, get us going. And it seems to be a common theme of us giving away, the first half of the games, not really doing much with the possession. I think from a lineup perspective, I thought that, and this goes back to like the game, we're talking about Nacional, but like Barreto has come on very strong as of late. He's been a good player, pressing. I didn't think, there's been conversation whether, you needed Barreto in a match like this. But I feel like Auschwitz should be more central. I think he plays better in the center of the field, but I know that we have a lot of injuries and there's a lot of going on with the lineup right now. But that was kind of the way I'd look at it. I wasn't very happy with the performance. I thought we got away with a win. Again, giving them credit that they came and they had to do it and they did it because it was a must win. You couldn't give up this game. And they found a way to pull it off. I'm not saying it was a lucky win, but I was just, again, disappointed with how we got to the victory. Now, everyone may look at me as like the pessimist, like, oh, you can't even like
Oscar and Kenny switching roles here.
Dude, he took words out of my mouth.
But I did enjoy the win. I don't know why we we're just slow. Again, I don't know if it's Mourinho ball, and this is just the style that that's the way Mourinho plays nowadays. It's defensive. It is what it is, but it just sucks. I don't like it. I don't like watching us, play like this, to be honest.
Fair. Oscar, I'm going to toss this one to you, and I'm going to, if you want to piggyback off anything Kenny said. I know that we've talked about the first half situation or the second half, right? Like we give up 45 minutes in most games, whether it's the second half or whether it's the first half. But looking at the stats, right? Benfica won 2-1. They scored in the 89th minute and the 90 plus 5. Benfica had a 2.6 expected goals versus a 0.5 expected goals for Nacional. Truth be told, Nacional scores a goal that basically comes from nothing. It comes from a terrible mistake from Otamendi coming out of the back. He's had a few. I think it would have been unjust if Benfica dropped points in this game because of something that Otamendi did. Because, I mean, let's be honest. Like, he's been probably one of, if not the most consistent player we've had in the last 12 months. Like, he's just been incredible for us. He's scored goals, tackles, defensively. He's had a couple of mistakes. But we all know, right? The only people that can make mistakes are the ones that are going to take risks and the ones that are on the field, right? And he never shies away from an opportunity to play. Stats wise, Benfica had 30 shots, 8 on target. We had 11 corners versus 2. We had 70% possession, which is absolutely incredible. Right. When you look at those stats,
it's deceiving,
obviously,
in my opinion,
that's what I was going to say. Right. So it's deceiving was what Kenny says. And I'll drop this to Oscar, and then you guys feel free to kind of jump in with your thoughts. I don't want to make this a one at a time type of conversation, as we normally don't do that. But Nacional away is typically a difficult place to play. And if you watch the game from the kickoff, I mean, Nacional's players were constantly killing time, right? And this happens in the Portuguese league, right? It's not specific to this game. We've seen games of Benfica this season who've done it, which is something that we normally have seen in the past, right? Where Benfica's had a couple of games at home where they were killing time and wasting time. But like there was so many moments that the goalie, like there was a play, he went up for the ball and like kicked Benfica's player and then went down asking for assistance. And even the commentator on Sport TV was like, everyone knows the goalie's not hurt. He's just burning time. So what do you take from what Kenny said, Oscar? And when you look at the stats, was it as bad of a performance as some people may say on the surface? And the reason where I'm trying to get is we've all said it and we've seen it in the past. When other teams come out with these wins and gritty games and they play like shit, but they come away with it at the death, right? It's always perceived as Estrelinha, right? Champions win games where you don't play very well, but you grind it out and you get it. But when it's Benfica, and maybe it's because we're harsh on our own team, we flip it and it's like, oh, we fucking got lucky. We played like shit. We got lucky, right? But when it's the other teams, it's like, oh, championship teams win these types of games. And I know Kenny's going to have an opinion on that. And that's what I want to create here is this debate. But I'll pass it to you, Oscar, and then feel free to jump in.
No, I agree in a way with Kenny just because of the stats are deceiving. Like, if you think about it, those stats probably happened mostly after Nacional scored, where we just kept the ball and attacked. And that's when we started playing ball that I actually liked. The first half, I agree with Kenny. We looked like we were just like almost a goal.
Hold on, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you quickly. So first half, Benfica had 64 possession versus 36. So it was only 6% jump in the second half. We had 14 shots, 4 on target in the first half.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I went back and looked at the highlights. Those 4 shots on target were like dribblers to the keeper. Again,
no, the Barreiro shot was a good
shot.
There was one dribbler. There was the Sudakov had a dribbler to the keeper. Pavlidis had a header that could have very well scored. He just put it right back at the keeper. And then there was the Barreiro right at the beginning. And Tony's header. There was a header from Tony that came swinging in. It was going in net. Keeper made a good save.
I don't know. I looked at the highlights. To me, they weren't like dangerous. Again, it's 4 shots and a half that were on target out of 14. Again, efficiency-wise, and I don't want to take from
the efficiency is definitely not.
To me, they weren't like dangerous opportunities. Yeah, Pavlidis, I do remember. I remember the header. Unfortunately went right to the keeper, but it wasn't like a crazy header either. It was a light ball to the keeper.
Another thing is, Kenny, we have to also think that Nacional was playing defensively. They were playing the typical soccer they play in Portugal, where they hold back 11 guys behind the ball and let Benfica make mistakes. I think their game plan was to counterattack on a mistake Benfica made, right? Because they were not,
and it worked.
They had 0 touches in Benfica's box in the first half. Benfica had 30 touches in Nacional's half in the Nacional's box in the first half.
So they were just playing to frustrate Benfica, and they did a good job at it because it almost panned out and almost worked. But to me, honestly, I'd rather have this win than a win 4-0 comfortable. All right. I think this win motivates us more for Friday than a 4-0 win like Sporting had this weekend. That's my opinion. I think that
and I was going to touch on that, but glad you bring this up. Carry on.
We're so used to losing a game or losing points at the end of the game that like deflates us. Where to the next game, like how the fuck we're going to recover from this? To this is completely opposite, where we win in the last second of the game. And you saw everybody celebrating like they won a championship. Mourinho coming in saying, "This is Benfica, it's like Benfica." That gave me goosebumps, and I'm like, dude, I think this is what motivates Benfica to the next game. Honestly speaking, so I'd rather have a win like this, agarra, than a 4-0 comfortable, and then we show up with our like hands in our ass and let it go. Next game. That's me personally.
Do you, Bill and Jay? Do you want to add anything first to what these guys are saying?
No, I agree. I agree with kind of both sides, right? Like the performance isn't what we want, right? What we saw for after Nacional scored is what we want to see consistently throughout the 90 minutes. But at the same time, I don't think the first half was as big of a disaster as Kenny's portraying it, but it wasn't great, right? We did get a few opportunities, but I agree with Kenny's point of the slow buildup. and that we saw that in the first until Nacional score. That's our game plan, right? Really slow build up, side to side. Once Nacional scored, that completely switched. Sudakov played essentially as a 10, and that I think from that point on is when Benfica played, right? And that's what we want to see game in, game out. It doesn't have to be all 90 minutes like that. It can't be, right? But more than the last 30.
I think that's what Kenny's trying to say in his point, where like the urgency only comes towards the end when we're trying to chase. Why not bring that urgency in the beginning? Try to get the early lead. Then you can kind of sit back a little bit and relax when you have a 2 or 3-0 lead. It's we're chasing the game always at the end. We're always struggling to find openings. I see a lot of side to side ball. I see us going from one side to the other side, back to the other side. Just fucking make a run in the middle. Try take a risk. And it feels like the team is like scared to take those risks, and I don't understand the reasoning for it. We have great guys that can go 1-on-1. We have guys that can do good combos. I mean, look at Andreas at the end where he kind of went down the line, did a little give and go with Otamendi of all people.
Of all people.
And he got the goal in Pavlidis with easy tapping. That's where I find the problem with Benfica, and it's come from like our previous coaches too. With Lage, we just go the side to side, and we don't make any runs in the middle. We don't put the ball in the middle. We're like scared to go through the middle and sometimes attack them right in the middle of the field and then kind of break it out wide that way. It's always like just go to the side and then work that angle as much as possible and put the ball in the box. And it seems like the teams have figured our style of play, and they're sitting back and they're playing defense against us. And they were like, you know what? We're going to play defense and you guys figure it out. You guys make the solution. Try to figure us out. And we're having a hard time doing that. And that's my opinion. I didn't see this whole game. I was kind of pissed off because I turned it on like around the 60th minute, and I was like, vamos a empatar con esta equipe. I was already getting fucked up. I'm looking at but
when you turned it on, we were still tied.
We were still tied. Yeah.
I'm looking at the standings. I'm like, dude, we're gonna lose more points. We got Sparta. Like, all that thing's going through my head as I'm watching this game. And I'm watching it with my little girl too. They scored. I freaking flipped out. I swear to God, my daughter started crying. She's like, my wife was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm mad at the TV." But then we were able to like turn it around. And I'm not gonna lie, my daughter even gave me a laugh on the second goal. So I was happy.
I'm mad at my TV.
We were all happy, but it was one of those wins where I kind of agree with Oscar, where it does kind of motivate the team, right? The coach came out firing. I got excited. Like I was pumped. I'm like, I haven't seen a last second win in a long time for Benfica. And it reminded me, I'm not saying it's going to go, but like a game like when Benfica played Boavista and Jonas scored that last goal. I think it was Jonas. It's a last minute goal. It's like something like that. It brought me up. Like I got off my couch. I was pumped. But even though we're still kind of back in the standings, it gave me a little boost. I think it hopefully gives them a little boost for this Friday game. But we'll see. I've also seen them play like this and then come out flat and get smacked at home. But we'll see.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, right? So like to Oscar's point, this type of game should give you some motivation, right? And typically, I would think so. But in my opinion, we've seen more of these like Benfica not like to me Benfica should dominador do jogo, and they should dominate each and every game. Like we are the top team.
Statistically, they did.
Yes, I know, but
but it's kind of like fool's gold. Like it's Mike. It's like when Spain plays soccer, right? They just pass the ball.
Correct, I get it.
That's how we kind of play.
So when you say dominate the game, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I think we're all in agreement here, is Benfica can dominate the possession, but we're not creating enough clear-cut.
Exactly. I want the goalie sweating out of his ass, dude. Like I want him like dude, I'm fucked. These guys are coming at me. We're not doing that.
You also have to think like. When Benfica plays an opponent that's open, we do create chances. It's more like when we play closed opponent, it's like 11 behind the ball.
But how many
struggle to break teams down?
Right, but how many times have we said this?
But Oscar,
in the Portuguese League, that's all we're going to get.
That's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get 11
but
guys
I agree with Oscar
and playing defense.
Is when it's an open game, right? I think Benfica's got the weapons and the ability to get forward and create chances. The difficult part is when you play teams with a low block, which, like Kenny says, we discussed this with Lage, we discussed it with Roger Schmidt, right? Benfica struggles to break these teams down when, in fact, 98% of the games in the Portuguese league or domestic league are exactly this are teams that are going to sit in
And
low block.
this is what should be like. You should be coaching this. Like, we can't just, we've gotten so accustomed to like, oh yeah, Benfica just doesn't play well against low block teams. Oh, like, I just feel like we've gotten so accustomed to like, this is just the way Benfica is, where it's like, no, we shouldn't be. Like, I understand Nacional is a tough game to go to, but like, to me, there was no excuse. There was no fog. The field wasn't shit. The weather wasn't bad. Like, yes, it's still a difficult game. They're time wasting. Well, guess what? If you score early, they're not going to be time wasting. You're going to be in control of the game. But you want to sit back for 45 minutes and do shit, play into their hand. Now they're time wasting. Now you're getting upset, and now you want to play the game when they're time wasting. Too tough shit. That's the way the Portuguese league is. It's been like that for years. We know it, but we continue. We've gotten so accustomed to that. This is, we just keep making excuses. Like, why aren't we like this? The team should be coached to like, this is our league. We should know how to play against this league. Yes, I think Porto and Sporting had a tough time with Nacional, but it's still like we got to break this chain and make changes. Like, we just can't keep making excuses for them. Like, I agree that this type of game could happen once in a while, and like, you need this to motivate, to motivate the team. It's middle of the season, spark you back up. But like, we tied Casapia 2 games ago or whatever it was. Like, we just see this more and more and more and more often. And you think that this is gonna motivate us, and all of a sudden we're gonna change the way we play against Sporting. I don't feel confident going into Sporting, not even after this victory, where you should want to feel that way, Oscar. I agree with you. This should motivate the team, but I don't feel confident going into Sporting.
No. What I'm trying to say, Ken, and I agree with you. Like, Benfica has not shown enough on the field to convince me that they can compete against Sporting and beat Sporting this weekend, right? They have not shown me. What I'm trying to say is, if we had tied that game or lost to Nacional, I would have zero confidence. Now I have some hope. Like, that might have sparked their ass a little bit. They can, let's come out playing hard. Let's play with Garra. Like, we can do this. That sparked a little hope in me, right? Mm-hmm. Because if we lost or tied that game, I would have been like, no, just throw the towel. I'm not even going to watch this game. It stops.
Dude, who are you kidding? I mean, at least for me, even if we lost this game, I would have still said Benfica would have won this Friday. I'm still going to say
it. I know.
It doesn't matter who they. I'm always going to say Benfica wins, at least in my opinion.
I did want to touch on a comment here and just shout out to the people that are in the comments quickly. We've got Rui Marx is back. Kevin Pereira has had some controversial questions or comments. We'll get back to those. Leave you. It didn't go very well for you on FIFA. We won't talk about that for you. But let's see some comments here. We've got Rui Marx says Antonio Silva sucks. Jay, I know you're a Seychelles guy. Do you want to jump into this, or does someone else want to give an opinion?
I don't think he sucks. So I mean, I don't think he's. I think the first year he came out, is probably his best year in my opinion. Yeah. Has he's fallen off a little bit? I feel like he got too comfortable. Maybe the hype, but I feel like this year he's been pretty solid. It hasn't been like terrible. He's made some mistakes, but it's been less than the previous years. I think this year the person that's made the most mistakes has been Otamendi, in my opinion. I feel like he's cost us a few goals on his end. I mean, I'm not saying Antonio Silva is perfect, but I also feel like right now I'm pretty confident with the 3 guys that you can switch them up, in my opinion. Tomas, Antonio, and Otamendi. I'd feel comfortable with all 3 of them, whoever you decide to start with. I wouldn't say he sucks. I'm not saying he's the best either, but he's no Ruben Diaz. He's probably in the middle of him and, I don't know, someone else. But I don't think he's like the worst defender in the world either.
Anyone want to add to that? And does anyone think that the starting 2 should be Tomas and Otamendi? Or Antonio and Otamendi?
So Antonio I lean more Tomas should start. I think on ball, defending wise, I think they're very similar. On ball is where the big difference is. Tomas is so much better on ball, making decisions with the ball.
The speed too on that.
Yeah. Then like Tony, every time he gets the ball, it's like 3-4 touches before he decides what the fuck to do with it, and you just want to move it. Like, and it gets to him, and he just plays it out wide or plays it back to Otamendi 9 times out of 10. And he still takes 3 or 4 touches to make that decision, even when we're trying to like break on like a quick counter or something. He takes so long to make his mind up. and it's so frustrating. And a lot of times it's the wrong choice. But I think on ball, Tomas is head and shoulders above Tony, and I think that given what the league we play in, you have the center backs have the ball so much that you want a guy that can pick out those passes.
But can you say that Tony has done enough to lose his job? I would say his starting gig, since he did get to start from the get-go. I'm just putting it out there. Like I haven't, in my opinion, I haven't seen enough that like, you know what, you got to flat out sit Tony. Just in my opinion.
What I think about this Antonio Silva situation is that he's not. I don't think he's as confident as he was in his first season.
Correct.
With the ball in his feet. So he makes a lot of stupid mistakes, like a stupid foul, stupid penalty kicks, like that, like handballs, like stuff like that. Stuff like that. I'm like, you've been in the league for 3 years now. This is not mistakes. You should be getting better at this, not worse. So that's where my confidence in him goes downhill. And Tomas Araújo, I think, is better in a sense that he, like Bill said, he can get the ball up the field. He can do long passes. He's faster. And he seems smarter on the ball than obviously not going backwards because he scores awesome own goals.
I raise a question to you guys, right? Suppose Otamendi gets, God forbid, he gets like a season-ending injury or what? Would you still be confident with the two that we have left? The main guy, Tomas and
say that again, Jay. I missed that.
Suppose like Otamendi gets, I don't know, a season-ending injury or he leaves the team or whatever. Like something happened, we lose Otamendi. Are you confident with Tony and Tomas, or are you like? No, but I'm just saying. Like,
I don't know. I don't know if I'm confident.
I'm confident in there.
To me, the only thing that goes down is leadership. Everything else, the style of play,
Correct.
I feel like is still the same. It's
but
just
that
to me,
leadership
you do lose that voice in the locker room. You lose that voice in the field. Hopefully, someone else steps up and says that.
Just remember one thing: when we lost Luizão, and that was a voice that was like the Otamendi that we have now, right? We ended up playing with Ferro and Rui. What's his name in Ruben Neves, right? Not Ruben Neves. The guy from
Ruben Diaz.
Ruben Diaz. So and we won the campeonato. Like those two were young guys at that time, and I'm like, even though Ruben Diaz became a leader, it became a voice. Like when he first started, he was just a kid, and we won the campeonato. So we had confidence in them, and Ferro now became what Antonio Silva probably will become.
Right, and that's basically what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that they're going to become Ruben Diaz or Ferro or whatever. I'm just saying that if something is to happen, I feel like we do have a solid backup that can play to that level. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well,
do we lose something in there? Yeah, we lose the leadership. We lose our captain.
I also think a lot of the issues with Tony, and we've talked about it, like when he makes a mistake, it snowballs to another one, and then the rest of the game he's shaky. Like, put him in Otamendi's shoes. If he makes that mistake against Nacional, he's shot.
I agree and disagree. Antonio Silva, and this is one of the things that I've talked to some of the guys in Portugal about, is as much as Antonio may make mistakes, and he's young, one thing that I would say he has is mental strength. Like, he's made some mistakes, and when Oscar just talked about Ferro, right? A lot of players at that age, when you make those mistakes, like it just you unravel. Like, not just for that game, but you just unravel completely. And while Antonio's had games where he's made some mistakes, he's had some own goals. He got a red card in Champions League last year, early in that game, right? Like, but he always manages to kind of pick himself back up and show up. He may have another mistake 3, 4, 5 weeks down the road. But I think if there's one thing, it seems like mentally he's strong enough, especially for a kid this age. And then the other thing is, and I don't know if you guys think it's just coincidental, but I mean, Roger Schmidt brought him up when he joined, brought him up from the B team. And he's now gone through Roger Schmidt, Bruno Lage, and Jose Mourinho. And we always harp on Tomas Araújo. And no matter how many mistakes Antonio Silva's made, Antonio Silva with 3 managers has kept Tomas Araújo on the bench.
Yep.
I don't think that's a coincidence, right? And as much as we think Tomas Araújo is better with his feet, I think for us on the surface, what we see, I think we can all agree, it's unanimous that with his feet, he's better. Coming out, playing out of the back, he's better. But there's something that those 3 managers and 3 managers that are completely different profiles have all stuck with Antonio Silva when they could have very well flipped the script and brought Tomás Araújo in. Do you guys think that's a coincidence, or do you think that there's clearly something there that they're seeing that we're not seeing?
And not only Araújo, like I think Morato is one too.
Another one, yeah.
He kept Morato on the left side and then on the bench.
Yes, exactly.
True.
So, like, the only other thing I would say that I do like about Antonio Silva is that guy has garra. Like, out of all the players that we always kind of complain that doesn't like show emotion, like that guy wants to win. He wants to. He plays for the shirt. Like, at least I see it when I see him play. I see the like how pissed he gets. He wants to win. He wants to get the W. If he makes some mistakes, maybe he tries too hard. He makes another mistake. But the guy is going out there and trying his balls off, like his ass off. And I appreciate that, at least, because like there's some guys that walk around that field that don't give a damn. And I can name a few, but they're just there to collect their paycheck. At least that's how I feel. But like to me, at least I think that he tries, he gives it his all. And I think he's not a terrible player. In my opinion, I wouldn't think he's the best, but he's not a terrible player.
I would agree. I think they'll end up bringing in a center back at some point, but I do think like Tomás Araújo and Antonio Silva at one point will be paired together as like a future pairing if they both stay on the team. And I do see Antonio Silva more of a leader, and I think that's just from playing with Otamendi that he's kind of growing into that role. I'm not saying he'll be captain or anything, but I do see, the talking on the field. I do see, and the poor play aspect of it or the mistakes. I think it's not entirely him. I think it's just a product of the form of the team and the situation that we're in. I don't think, I think if we were balling, I guarantee you that back line and Antonio Silva are also at that same level. I just think
his first season.
Exactly. So it's when you win, everything's great. Everyone's playing well. When you're in a slump, players end up slumping as well, right?
And you can't expect a 19 or whatever it is, right, 20-year-old to be the guy to take him out of the slump. You need somebody that's an older veteran to get the team out of the slump, and then all these young guys will follow them. But you can't expect, hey, Antonio Silva, you suck now. So I mean, you have to prove to us that you need that from the veterans. You need the guy from the 25-year-olds and plus to get you off the slump, and then all the young guys will follow.
And the thing is, he's had a lot of experience. He's only 21, 22 or whatever he is. He's still really young. He still has many years of soccer ahead of him. I think he's going to develop into a really good player eventually. Just my opinion. And he might be a sell-sound player too as well. He already is.
I mean, he already is technically.
Yeah.
He goes on vacation with the Selección. Martinez
never
doesn't
plays.
seem
He doesn't really play.
Another negative thing about Antonio Silva is like, even in this Selección, when we have a center back coming out, he puts in a midfielder on this position, leaving him on the bench.
Ruben Neves came in for center back.
Is that why even call this guy up if you don't have confidence to put him on his position when somebody comes out from that position? You know what I mean? Like that makes sense.
We're not talking Portugal.
No, that's fair. It's a fair point.
We're talking about Antonio Silva's situation, which is like coaches don't have confidence. You said all these coaches in Benfica had confidence in him, but obviously not everybody has confidence in him in this Selección.
Fair. Rui Marx still thinks that he's average at best, period. Kevin Pereira also thinks he's average, and that's fine. I think it's good to see that we all have different.
Right now.
I think he's better than average.
Average.
I wonder what Rui and Kevin thought when on the first season when he scored those 2 goals against Juventus and he was like balling, like legit balling. Like, was he the next Ruben Diaz, or was he also average?
Listen, we all got faked out with Ferro. We've talked about that plenty of times here. So
I said Ferro was going to be better than Diaz.
I was one of those as well. Time will tell, for sure. But we'll soon see.
Hey, by the way, just if you bring up Rios, don't tell Rui that he sucks, because Rui will probably threaten you.
That's fine. Rios didn't play this weekend, so I don't have to talk about him. To close out this game, so we get a big 3 points. We still remain, I believe, 6 points. We're 6 points away from Porto, who's got 34 points, and we're 3 points back of Sporting. From a goal difference perspective, they've got 6 more goals scored and 1 less goal conceded. So even if we beat them this weekend or this week, we're not going to jump ahead because the head-to-head only applies at the end of the season.
You don't think we can beat them 7-0?
I mean, if we smash them, that would be fucking epic. I did want to touch on one thing that Oscar touched on, and it'll kind of, and then I wanted to talk about some players quickly. But I agree with Oscar, and those of you who are on the chat, let us know your thoughts. I said this, I can't remember who I said it to. I think I said it to the guys in WhatsApp, Luis and Joel, which is, I think this win, the way we won, gives the team a different fire to go into Friday. And Oscar already touched on that, which is what I wanted to talk about is, do you think, and obviously winning a game like this doesn't say that Benfica is going to go in Friday and smash Sporting. And I don't want to talk too much about the Sporting game, but I wanted to get everyone's thoughts on it because I didn't think we touched on it enough. I know Kenny kind of briefly touched on it, but I agree with Oscar where the way that the team's been playing, and we've had some ups and downs, and there's been some criticism, and we've changed managers, and we started off 0-3 or 0-4 in the Champions League, right? And that's taken a toll on the team. We had the elections and all the pressure around the club. Like, it's just been an absolute shit show to start the season. You go down on you've given up points at home against Santa Clara late. You've given up points home against Casapia late. You go into this game against Nacional off the back of your first 3 points in the Champions League against Ajax, a big win despite not 90 minutes of great football. But I would say Benfica played 30, 40 good minutes of ball in Amsterdam. But I think that this win and the reaction of the team as a whole after this win, I think, and I hope, can bring this team together. We've seen Mourinho go straight down the tunnel after most games, if not all, wins, losses, or ties. And his reaction coming onto this field after the game and kind of saluting the players' reaction, I think I agree with Oscar in the sense of it really could be like a turning point for this team from a camaraderie perspective. For me as a fan, it shows me that the team's together, the manager's with the team's with the manager, and they're fighting this together, and they realize that, great, we may have come away with a lucky one here, right? But like you said, Kenny, in a lot of cases in recent history, I would say in the last 6 to 12 months, a lot of times this team would have folded. They would have put their head down and said, they would have packed it in, and they just would have dumped balls into the box, and they fucking wouldn't have created shit. Okay, the first goal is a brilliant strike, but again, those are the decisions that right, like Nacional's goal is a fortunate giveaway, right? So I think the way I interpret this is I think it's a huge motivating factor for this team from a coming together, from a unity perspective, and I really hope and feel like this could be a turning point for them with a home game against Sporting coming up on Friday, a home game against Napoli coming up midweek for the Champions League. And I know that Kevin's saying they won late because they're struggling. Nacional's not a good win. Again, it all based on how you look. I'm not saying that Benfica played well. I'm saying it's a big win in the sense of you came back in the final 8, 9, 10 minutes when everything was stacked
throw the
against
towel
you.
like you usually do.
Everything was stacked against you, right? It would have been so easy for them to just pack it in and people just keep, I could see the headlines already.
They could have just
president's fault. You guys shouldn't have voted for Rui Costa. All that, right? Like, you could see it already. The headlines were already being printed, right? And again, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, this team had everything to fucking pack it in and be done. And whether it was a star in the sky, whether it was a moment of brilliance, whether it was the never give up mindset, they came away with it. And again, we sit here and say, how many times in Sporting's 2 titles, Estrelinha, Soma Vitória Campeão, they battled it out, they grinded it out. And then when it's us, it's like, we suck, right? Look at the comments. It's not a good win. It was late. We struggled. Why is it 2 different mentalities, right? When it's the others, it's fantastic. When it's us, we suck. I get it. Our expectations are high, but I want to get your thoughts. Do you guys see it the same way? I know Kenny touched on it briefly, but do you guys see it the same? I think it could be a turning point. Is it going to be? I don't know. We'll find out on Friday.
I think it's possible. I mean, I think both views of this game like both sides of the picture are absolutely valid. I think the way you feel, Mike, is you're 100% valid to feel that way. And I also think Kevin's view, and I'm more on Kevin's side, is also a valid point. Just because
Fair.
it's been, to me, it's been the norm nowadays. Now, should this type of victory, like Oscar said, like you were saying, give hope and give that confidence to, hey, it's time to step up? Yes. But I personally am not confident in this team yet. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we come out strong. We beat Sporting, and all of this could be the change of the chapter this season. But I'm not going to set myself up to like put myself there and then be disappointed again, because I've kind of felt that already along the way this year, like throughout Champions League, just disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. I just haven't seen enough. But I will say, Mourinho did call out a bunch of players. What, against 2 games ago? I think it was
Atletico.
Atletico.
That's what I said.
And that second half of that game was completely different. We haven't seen this type of comeback or reviravolta in a long time. This could be also an answer to Mourinho calling out players and their attitudes and their effort on the field. Again, I don't know why we have to wait till deep into the second half to like turn it on, but it could be a sign of maybe these players are getting the message. Maybe they're starting to feel the pressure. I hope so, because if not, it's going to be a long season again and not a pretty one.
I think before Kenny
Hold on,
just touched
before I
on,
get your opinion, I just want to see if I want to see if Kenny's consistent with his thought process here,
Oh, boy.
and I'm going to take it to a different sport. But
Oh boy.
there
the
comes
way I look
Cowboys.
the way I look at this is, right, Benfica came up with a late win here, right? 2 weeks
like the
ago or a week
Cowgirls.
ago, 2 weeks ago maybe, right? The Cowboys came back against the Eagles, right? And then the following week they went and beat the Chiefs, right? Do you,
You should have
based
seen
on
them.
your mentality, how you looked at it here, do you still think the same of the Cowboys, right? They basically did the same thing. They came back against Super Bowl champions.
I've learned my
right?
lesson, Mike.
No, he's always
I've learned.
disappointed year after year after
Yeah.
year. He's always disappointed year.
I'm-
But do you apply that same thought process, or do you and look at the chances, right? Like Victor's
Oh, boy.
listening and we're talking about the Cowboys. It's like you couldn't make a better timing. But I wanted to compare, because I think and I'm not trying to mock you I think the timing and the comparison is relevant, right? Because they came back late, right? And they won a game that you would have never expected, right? And then they come back the following week and beat the Chiefs, although the Chiefs aren't what the Chiefs were in the past. But I'm just trying to get your thought process of like, do you look at it the same way or do you look at it differently, even though the situations are very similar?
Situations are they're pretty similar around the season,
Even
and
performance wise,
yeah. But just like Benfica, I have zero confidence in the Cowboys as well. It's just part of again, the disappointment after disappointment.
Okay.
I'm not there yet either. I'm at the point now with Benfica, similar to the Cowboys, where like I'll believe it when it actually happens. I'm not gonna keep my hopes up.
He needs
Now,
more proof.
Benfica is very different too. I mean, Benfica is 100% should dominate this league. I firmly believe, and I know Oscar and I have talked about this, at the beginning of the season, I pounded my fist on this desk that Benfica was the front runner after the players that they got, after Sporting getting rid of or losing Gyökeres, and after Porto's awful season last year. I pounded my fist on this table and said Benfica is 100% the favorite to win this league and should win this league easily this year. And it hasn't gone that way.
But I know, but Kenny, I even question, like, why do you say that?
And I'll say it again. Because Sporting lost their golden goose, okay? Porto had come off one of the worst seasons in a long time.
But invested more than we did.
They invested hard, but on no-name players that I don't know much of.
More than what we did.
Okay, and Benfica invested hard too on like names that people were very, very excited about. Names that were very, Rios was one of the biggest talked about signings of a long time.
I personally didn't know Rios before he came to Benfica, so I can't talk
about
Palmeiras.
They were saying that, even now Palmeiras lost the Libertadores. They're saying it's because Rios wasn't there, right? So like to me,
they're going hard.
Benfica was the favorite, and they have been, in my opinion, hugely disappointed. Benfica, it is the top three, but Benfica should run this league. They should not be in the position that they have been over the last 3 years. Like we can't continue this cycle, and it's just.
I agree with you.
It's awful that it continuously happens, and I feel like we're just getting used to it, and we're just like keep making excuses like, oh, blah blah blah, this and that. It's like,
I don't disagree.
We're
numb to it at this point.
I know. To me, is like this situation. I don't like when a team changes a whole squad, like almost the whole squad from 1 year to the next, right?
Even if they constantly.
Even if they invest in big players and whatnot, they need time to adapt to each other. We need to keep the foundation and then basically build on that foundation. We did not do that this year, right? We lost the midfield, we lost the wingers, like the strikers. We kept Pavlidis, but the back line, 2 guys that knew. So we lost basically the whole squad. The foundation is gone, and then we started from zero. Porto invested slowly, but more than us, and I thought they were on the same page as us, starting fresh with new teams. And I thought Sport was going to have an advantage, not because they lost Gyökeres, but because they kept the foundation. They kept the whole team together. Gyökeres left, Suarez came in. Suarez is just to plug it in because the team is playing well. So Suarez is scoring goals. So Sporting kept the foundation, and to me is why they're favorites, is because they kept the whole teams together. All right.
Yeah, so, I kind of agree with that too.
But then why is Porto able to do it?
Because they did it right. They invested in the right players, and they plugged in the puzzle correctly instead of
they changed their 11 pretty drastically.
What I'm saying is they did it slowly.
You want to know the difference?
Well, basically,
who built Benfica?
Oh God! Stop with that shit.
Stop.
I had to. We would be. Me personally, I think we would have more points today if we kept Lage than if we have Mourinho. That's me personally, because he built it for a reason. We didn't give him time to work with it.
But I want to understand the logic, right? Like if Porto was able to invest more than Benfica
because they guessed right. It's really simple. They got the right players for their right team, and we didn't. And we needed.
But how didn't we? How didn't we? Or is
because we didn't do a good job in scouting? It's really simple. It's not like rocket science. They got the right players. We picked the wrong players. Their players gel. Ours don't gel.
All I've heard is Rios the best player, not only in Palmeiras but probably in Brazil. Right?
I never heard any of that because I didn't hear about Rios. I'm like Oscar. I didn't hear about Rios until he came to.
I mean, am I wrong? That's all I heard.
Well, I don't know who you hang out with, but I don't know who you talk to about soccer.
All right, this is what I get. We invest the way we invested is a lot of money on less players, right? Porto invested smaller amounts of money on more players, and they have a deep bench, and we don't. We don't have a deep bench. We have no bench. 11, that's massive amount of money.
Well, we've been hit with injuries too,
the calls and all that, but we don't have a bench. And Porto has the William Gomes coming off the bench, or William whatever the fuck his name is. And like those guys are like, for some reason they cost less money, but they're playing a lot better than us because they have a bench they can actually rotate.
But you said if you keeping the core is more important than changing the whole 11, right? So Porto invested less, but on more. Right, more volume, changed up more of their starting 11.
I don't know if they changed more of the starting 11.
They did. If you look at their starting 11 this weekend, they got Alberto Costa's new, Bednarek's new, Kivior's new, Moda was there, Froholt is new, Rosario's new, William Gomes was there last year on loan, right? Did they buy? Okay, Samu was there, and Borja Sainz, right? So they've swapped 6 or 7.
Yeah, same as us.
Same as us.
So then, why did they find success? Because again, and I like
they got the right players that gelled correctly with.
And not only that, and not only what Jay is saying. What to me is like a lot has to do with the elections had a lot to do with it too, right? So we invested heavy on players that, like you said, are better known because we're trying to win the votes. I think that Benfica was trying to win a lot
But
of
if
votes.
they're better known, aren't they better players?
Not really,
Okay.
not necessarily.
Well,
Not
I
necessarily.
mean, if they're better known, then they must have been doing good in the
look at
teams
Man
that they were
United.
at.
Look at Man
Our
United.
best,
Look
our
at
best,
Man United. They get all these players. They're well known. They all suck.
yeah,
What are you gonna do?
our best
So
problem.
is it a
works.
coach? Is it a coaching thing? Is it a
I think
coaching
it's,
thing?
at this point, in my opinion, it's a player thing. I think the players don't gel together, or they don't play well together.
But that has to be a coaching thing.
We've gone through 3 coaches. It's to me, it's not the coaches. At some point, it's the players' fault. That's how I feel.
And this is where I blame Lodge, because he's responsible for this team, right? This is the team that he built, right? So I don't know what kind of influence he has. Like we talked about Roger Schmidt last year or 2 years ago. I don't know kind of influence, but he's part of it, right? He's part of building this team. And to me, like he has to have a vision of, can they play together? Because if they can, then it's on him. And the way he got these players, they got maybe high volume or high value, but they don't match together. They don't. I mean, there's more. The more you can put them together, that seems like they don't develop. They don't.
There's so many teams out there that buy these players. They buy all these players, and then when it comes to show the results, they lose. They tie. Like it doesn't happen all the time. Like that's the thing. I think the
difference was.
Just us buying players doesn't mean that we're going to be a stocked house team. Like,
but if you're going into the season, right?
PSG had Messi, had all these guys. Did they ever win a Champions League? No. It took a bunch of kids to win for PSG.
They were still very good signings.
Yeah, but they weren't Messi. They weren't Messi, Mbappe, and whatever these other guys, the Brazilian Neymar.
Correct.
Those guys are top players. Those are top of the top. Sometimes it doesn't mesh. It's just how it is, Kenny. Like,
correct.
Dallas has a
hold on.
You guys don't win anything.
I don't agree that sometimes it just doesn't mesh, because that's why the coaching is very important. And I've heard this argument here before from Oscar. Oh, Man City, or not Man. Oh my God, what's the Man City? Guardiola. He's overrated as a coach. It's so easy if you can buy the best players in the world. It's so easy to win the league every year. So then the coaching does matter. You got to pick the right players.
Of course it does.
But if you're going
your system,
hold on. But if you're going into the season, don't look at it now. But if you're going into the season and you go and you buy this player that's well known, and that player's a stud on that team, and you're going into the season like you're thinking you should logically, your team should be better. Whether if it's on paper or it transitions to the field, on paper, your team is better because you've picked up the stars. Now it takes a coach and a system to make them work. I agree. But I don't think that these players that we got just suck. I don't believe that, because on their previous teams, they were good. And we stacked.
Kenny, I never said they sucked. What I said is they don't match together. So they need to mesh, and for some reason the coach has to pick the players that can combine, that can play together well, right? They can mesh together. And for some reason, Benfica doesn't seem like they're doing that. And maybe it's a coach thing, maybe it's a practice thing, maybe it takes time. I don't know, but right now it doesn't seem like they can hold it together.
Like Rui Marx made a comment. They produce it. They play in the right position, and we've seen a little bit. And like Kenny touched on Sudakov, we've seen when he plays centrally, it's a completely different player than when he's out wide. And unfortunately, given the roster, he's had to play a lot of time out on the left because we have no fucking wingers, right? And I think the base of the problem right now is Lage built a team for whatever formation he was playing and whatever he wanted to do, built it that way. And right now, Mourinho wants to play with wingers, and we don't have wingers, especially now with Daldi hurt. Luka Bacchio was the only out-and-out winger that could take guys on with pace. He was hurt. We have none. Andreas can play like he's out wide, but completely different type of winger. Same thing with Prestiani. I actually think Prestiani is better if he's central as well. We don't have out-and-out wingers that Mourinho likes to play with. So you have guys who should be playing centrally, playing out on the left, and then we have Alsness playing out on the right, who's been a shadow of the Freddie that we fell in love with. Right. Yeah. And I think that's the problem. When you have guys playing out of position, you're not going to get the best out of them. And right now, given the situation where we fired Lage, we have Mourinho trying to just fit pieces out wide when, like, for me, Sudakov is a waste out wide. But Rumar
We saw
just
that
said.
this weekend.
Yep.
Nacional,
When he
played
dropped in
more
centrally,
central.
he looked
He played
great.
really well. It was probably his best game since he got to Benfica. Again, we could sit here and beat a dead horse for a long time about this. I want to move on, but thank you for generating this controversy in the chat. We appreciate it. Talking point that's I'm sure
See
going
what
to
happens
generate
when you bring up the
different
Cowboys?
Just went off the hinges. We even got Victor in here commenting.
I don't
It
even
was
think
great.
I don't even think I answered your original question.
It's okay.
Let's move on.
We went to another topic. There's a lot of rumors about Rafa potentially coming back. I saw another link this morning saying that Besiktas now is willing to listen to offers of 5 to 10 million. Would you guys welcome Rafa back? And just to remember, he left on a free. He was at Benfica for I think 6 years or 7 years. He had 326 games, 94 goals, 79 assists. Champion multiple times with the club. He's having some interesting situations at Besiktas. They're saying he faked a back injury. He did start off well, but if you look at his career at Besiktas, it's been very similar to the graph of what he did at Benfica. He, super high and then kind of disappears and then back and then disappears. But given the current state of Benfica's roster and the options, seriously, would you guys, and I'll open this up to, I'm going to start with Oscar here because he's probably going to be the biggest defender of him. And then all of you guys chime in, but curious to get your thoughts. Would you guys welcome Rafa back in January if the option was there? He even sat straight up for this one.
Rafa, 100%. And this goes like he's 32 years old, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, he's 32 years old.
He is
spending money. Hell yeah!
So this is just basically to get us back on track, not to get a young player to basically sell later on, because I think that's where he ends his career if he does come back to Benfica. Like it's almost like a Jonas thing coming to Benfica, kind of to get his career, end his career. I would welcome back because Rafa is a phenomenal player, but I think he needs a lot of Miminhos. So for that to happen, bring João Mario and bring PC back because
oh my god,
because we need a trio.
Do you really think
the game back together?
We need a trio in order. No, Rafa needs Miminhos. If he plays with Sudakovs and Lukavius and whatever that bullshit, he's not going to Miminhos. So we need João Mario and PC to come back with him. Let's go.
100%.
He's not going to get me English from Mo. That's for damn sure.
Do you know who the coach is now?
That's yeah.
Just to interject, guys. Rafa was at Benfica for going on 9 years before he left.
Damn, 9! I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah.
Oscar looks confused. That's from me on the backstage.
So I mean, the first few years he really didn't play. He was a riding bench most of the time.
His first year
to correct you there, he first season he joined Benfica, he played 31 games. He left Braga after 2 games.
2 physics, 2 subs, no subs, nothing.
Yeah, talk about minutes, asshole. Like coming in the first minute, like with the Roger Schmidt, doesn't count.
He played 21 games as a starter.
Dude,
Miggs is just fighting. Tell me facts, dude.
The perks of having someone on the backstage.
Hit him with facts.
The floating voice.
It's like having AI. Just answer everything Oscar wants.
Fuck, man. You can't even tell a lie over here now.
Look,
who the fuck invested in VAR for this fucking?
We got live fact check now.
It's just like VAR. Call the city.
No fake news here.
I'll say this about Rafa, and I'll let you guys talk. I would welcome him back, but on a free transfer. I wouldn't pay anything for him. Just my 2 cents.
He's not gonna come for free.
And to be honest with you, I wouldn't even pay him his salary that he was getting paid before either. So it's what I would say. I wouldn't bring him back. But I wouldn't hate it either because we kind of need some help right now.
I mean, they're gonna get help somewhere. It doesn't have to be Rafa, right?
So we got a yes from Oscar.
Correct.
We got a no from Jay.
Yep.
Kenny.
Well, I'll welcome him for free if he's free.
Well, guys, like so, Rafa will be playing basically behind the striker, right? So
you're gonna have to play him as a winger.
We can't because Rafa's not a winger. He doesn't play there. Like
You
with
have
Benfica,
to.
he played as a second striker.
If
You
you're
don't
not
have
going to
any
play him as
wingers.
a winger, I
you
wouldn't
have
go get him.
you have Sudakov to play behind the striker.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
but
don't go get
Sudakov
Rafa to
doesn't
play
play
on
on
the
the
Yeah,
wing,
wing.
you have Sudakov who costs 30 million that sits behind
Yeah.
the striker. Not
Yeah, but
a
Sudakov
guy,
does
not a
score- does
32-year-old
score goals.
speedster that can play the wing and doesn't want to.
But the thing is, Rafa has goal in him. Sudakov has not proven that he has goal in him.
What'd you say? Rafa has goal in him?
Yeah, he scores a lot of goals.
Kenny, go.
What you don't that's not true?
He misses a lot of goals.
Come on, Joe.
First of all, I would not sign anyone
Don't
over.
talk.
I think our track record of signing older players in the
It's been
January I don't think they end up finishing the season playing. I feel like they all get hurt.
I mean,
At
we've
least
gotten
that's my
Jonas, we've
memory.
gotten Ahmad, we've gotten Saviola, we've gotten a few older guys that end up panning out for us. In
In
my
the January market,
well, I don't know.
No, not in
No,
January.
it's
No,
not
those guys were all.
I think
Why
we have
wasn't
a
that in
terrible
January?
because I think we have a terrible track record of signing players in the January transfer market that end up getting hurt. I believe Draxler was one.
Oh my god, that
Um,
Jackson guy was a joke.
No, that was in the
Belotti-
summer.
Draxler was in
That
the
was
summer.
also in the summer too.
They were
Okay.
all in the summer, but they were all loaned from PSG.
Yeah.
You're gonna
They
go.
gave
Yeah,
us- they
and
gave
like
us
Renato-
Was it
Cash.
didn't
It was-
Belotti come in January?
Yeah, we had Renato
Belotti came in
Sanchez.
January,
Man.
yes.
Belotti
We
came
had-
in
Renato
January, yeah.
Sanchez was he a January
No.
one that came back?
No, he was
It was
No, he's
summer.
in the summer.
a year alone.
Well,
Juan
if
Juan
our-
Bernat. Juan
Var-
Bernat
Not
was
the
a
summer?
January.
Oh, January.
Bernat, there's another one that never played. Jean Miguel, can you continue? Well, you got the list there?
ChatGPT, come on.
I don't have the list. Let me pull it
Oh,
up. for
but
you.
I guarantee you, I just don't have a good feeling that our January transfer window is a good one. I feel like players come in, they never play, they end up getting hurt. Rafa is on the older side. I probably would again. I don't know how it's going to play out, but if I had to guess from just history, I would say that he would probably end up getting hurt and not finishing the season.
I can't even remember a January transfer that was like so impactful. Like maybe
Oh, man,
Weigel.
I gotta look this up.
What we have, I think,
Weigel came in January.
if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
I think we had one player that the thing is, like, I agree with Kenny when it comes to if the team is playing well, bringing somebody in January is almost it's bad news. Like Weigel, right? When Weigel came in, it was January. It kind of threw away everything because he had to start because we paid a lot of money for him and all that, and then the team started falling apart. And I think that's where it all started falling apart. It was when Weigel came in for Roger Schmidt. Now we had players like
Roger Schmidt.
Huh?
Weigel was Bruno Lage.
Weigel was Bruno Lage.
It was, but it was,
And then your buddy Peasy
No,
started
it
shit.
was Bruno Lage.
Yeah, no, but it was in January, and then
Correct.
Roger got fired that year, and then Roger
Correct.
Schmidt came in. That's what it was.
No, it was
I have
JJ.
JJ.
I have a honorable mention for a January transfer window player. His name was Alvaro Carreras.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah, but he
big
was like
signing.
shit for those first.
But he
6
wasn't
months.
older. Kenny was saying more like older guys. He was younger.
Older guys, you're looking at
Bruma.
Lucas Verissimo, Bruma,
Outro aleijado.
Gabriel Pires.
Outro aleijado.
Gabriel Piquena. Hey, he had a good season.
And he
when
won as a
won.
Campeonato.
He was
Yeah, with
nasty.
Samaris.
Yeah,
With Bruno Lage.
Yeah, and we won in Porto with him.
Cristiani was these are younger guys.
all young. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we normally
I-
tend to
Oh,
buy,
you guys have a list? Oh,
bring
All
young
right, so-
guys in.
So
No,
Kenny,
but what
you're-
I was saying, I didn't finish, is like, so if the team is playing well, I think bringing in somebody in January is not great news. But if a team is actually needs that help, like we do right now, I think having somebody like Rafa as an option is good. That's my opinion, because
even last year, Bruma I think helped us a little bit in a
he
couple
did,
of
but
games.
we had
you know what I
wingers.
mean?
We had wingers that were playing really well, and Bruma came in and
he
still
got
helped
hurt.
out.
He got hurt.
He got hurt like that.
but
not-
that's
this
a
year.
freak accident, dude.
Yeah,
An
hurt this
Achilles
year.
is
Yeah, but
like a freak
it-
accident.
I'm pretty sure this is like a common theme of guys like
Manu
Manu is
That's all
another
good.
one.
January, and then
Was this a January one?
20 minutes in.
Look, I'm just saying. I don't think. I'll just finish here. For myself, I would not go get Rafa. I'm not a big guy to go get like players that have gone through Benfica or even coaches that have gone through once and go back to I forget the saying, but like go back to the whatever it is, whatever the saying is. Go back to the what am I trying to say here? You guys know that.
ChatGPT, can you step in here?
Don't go somewhere you were successful, basically. Like, don't go back to a place where you were
Go back to
successful.
the drawing board. I don't know. Whatever.
Next time,
I
don't
just
use
want to
an
go back
analogy
to
that
it.
you don't know.
If I'm gonna go spend money, and you're gonna spend like 8 to 10 million, you might as well. I think we should change our.
We should have chose a different president.
No. I think we should change our go at with the transfer market and go after like. There's plenty of players in the Portuguese league right now
I agree with that.
that
I
are
agree
playing
with.
well, and you should go get one of those younger guys or someone that's doing well in the Portuguese league who's already adapted, who's in form, and bring him into the. I mean, you're going to spend 8 to 10 million. You might as well go there.
Fair.
Just going back on all the transfers, you have to go back as far as the 15-16 season to find a real impactful December or January signing, and that was Grimaldo, and that took him a while. Same thing as Carreras to kind of get going.
Yeah, it's not easy to come in January mid-season and
there haven't been any
have an impact.
that have been really impactful, unless you consider Yannick Jalot impactful. But
I got an honorable mention before Bill gives his thoughts. Diego Souza, January transfer window, 19-20 season. Remember that guy, the guy that played at Braga?
the striker.
Brazilian that played for the national team. That's what I'm saying. Like another guy that was 30 and he came in, he didn't do anything.
Jesus Christ.
Bill, would you take him back?
No. We've talked about it before. Rafa needs, and Oscar even said it, Rafa needs Meninos. Do you think Mourinho is going to give that guy any kind of fucking love and coddling? Get the fuck out of here, dude. No chance.
He'll be on the B team within like 2 days. Like, get
no
the fuck
chance.
out of here. Go get another tattoo of fucking a palm tree on your chest or something.
Hey,
what was it? What was it?
When he does come back, when he does come back in
he had like a good vibe something on, like, I forgot what his tattoo was.
I remember Kenny
we talked about
went
it.
in on that.
So gay.
Quick question to interject. Do you guys feel Rafa fits Mourinho's style, where Mourinho likes to play a low block and counter a lot? Rafa kind of fits that style where he's the breakout player and kind of gets everyone pushed forward, or how do you guys feel about that?
So the type of player he is, yes, fits. But the Rafa with Mourinho does not work. It will not work, I don't think.
How do you figure?
Dude, we've talked about he goes so Rafa, and Mike talked about it before. Rafa, when he's on, he's unbelievable. But then he disappears for months.
Yeah.
It happens every season. He disappears. Like with Mourinho, I don't think Mourinho's going to give him any of that kind of coddling or mimos, or you want to call it.
But guys, let's face it. Let's face reality. It's probably going to happen. So we're probably.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised because the type of player fits. Yes, the speedy guy you can put out wide, take guys on, has some goals in him. Might miss a few, but he has some goals in him. That type of player is what we need. Like it fits what we need. We need more than one, but it fits. My concern is Rafa, the player, and when he's on the low, it's low, and he just disappears from games for months.
His
and
mentality
I don't think
might be an issue.
I don't think, and Mourinho's already called guys out in media. How do you think Mourinho communicates with those guys? If he's saying this in the media, what's he saying in the locker room in private?
I'd argue.
Dude, and that's my thing. If Rafa gets into one of these slumps, and Mourinho in private in the locker room goes in on him, I don't know if Rafa can take it, because we've seen him just disappear. And I feel like he's one of those players that needs the coddling and needs like the coach to be like, come on, Rafa, like you can get through this, like motivating him. And I think Mourinho is, we've seen it, he's an old school player. Like I think Mourinho is just, will go in on you, and it's more like, it's like tough love more than what Rafa needs is Fofino love.
All right, so wrap this up. So we've got.
He needs Pizzi and Joe Mari to come back with him.
Yeah, if he's going to get the love, then yeah, he needs those guys.
All right, so we've got a no from Bill. We've got yes from Oscar. Jay said only for free. Kenny, what was your decision? No?
No, I don't believe in it.
I agree. I think he's just too much of a hit or miss. I wouldn't take him back. If it was free, maybe.
I mean, free, maybe.
I could see it happening if it's free, like
you don't have nothing to lose. I mean, you can.
If it's less
free,
than the Bruma was what, like
even if he
4 or 5
doesn't
goals,
play,
right?
it's free.
Yeah, I would say
Like
pre. I wouldn't say no. He's an option. He's someone that's proven. If we had to pay like anything more than 5, I would say absolutely not.
Yeah. My concern is the player, not the price, or it's just the player itself.
All right. Well,
who the
we'll
manager
see.
is.
There's a lot of rumors swirling. So, like Jay said, it's probably very possible that it's going to happen.
I hope to God it does.
I guess we'll see. All right, let's move on to the last piece here, which is game on Friday. So we've got Benfica at home against Sporting. Benfica's 3 points back from Sporting. We've already played them this season in the Supertaça, which we won. And we now go into this game off the back of that 2-1 game against Nacional. We beat them in the Supertaça 1-0, goal from Pavlidis, which in my opinion was a frango from Rui, what the hell's his name? Rui Silva, Sporting's goalkeeper. Both teams coming into this game in a different level of form. As it relates to home games, Benfica, as you guys remember, tied last year at home, the title game against Sporting. Akhtar Koglu made it 1-1. Trincão scored first. Pavlidis hit that ball off the post. If that ball doesn't hit the post, our conversation today is probably drastically different from what it is right now. But a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. Prior to that, Benfica's game before that tie, 1-1, was 2-1 victory against Sporting. As you guys, I'm sure, remember, 94th and 97th minute goals from João Neves and Kasper Tengsted to win that game. And then prior to that, Sporting's got a 3-1 win against us at home in the 21 season. In 22 season, we lost to them in the league playoff. We tied to them 2-2 at home. Gonçalo Ramos scored 2, and Bas scored an own goal, and Pedro Gonçalves scored a goal from PK. So I will start with Jay. What are you thinking ahead of this game, and what do you expect?
Well, I expect to win every single time Benfica plays. I don't give a shit who they play. Do I feel good about it? I would say no.
You put money on it?
I would not put money on it. I would definitely say I wouldn't throw cash at this game. But we are home. I do have some faith. I'm hoping that the last game is like what you guys are saying. Do I believe it? Not really, but maybe there's a turning point. Maybe there's a turning point. I always going to try to believe, right? No matter what, I'm a fan. I want them to win. I'm always going to root for them to win. I do think at the end of the day it might be a draw. Just the way I'm leaning overall. But I'm going to go with my heart, and I'm going to predict 2-1 Benfica. That's what I'm going to predict. I think that we're going to come out. We're going to win. I think we'll come out firing, get an early lead. They'll tie it. I think we'll get the 2 goals, and then Sporting will score and then make it tight towards the end, and we'll just play defense to win the game out. That's just how I think. But Sporting can go in there and beat us 3-0. It wouldn't shock me either. So it's just one of those things. I'm just going to go with, as a fan of my heart, Benfica wins 2-1.
All right. Bill?
Yeah, I'd love to say I'm confident going in. I'm not. I think at the end of the day, I think we walk away with the job. But again, we've talked about it with the derbies and the Clásicos. Like, form doesn't really matter when you go into these games. But knowing Mourinho and knowing how he looks at things and looks at the table, a draw is better than a loss, and I feel like he's going to come in to at least to start the game very cautious, and I wouldn't say sit back, but I don't think we're going to see like Cristiani starting, right? I think it's going to be very much like Auschwitz out wide, Rios, Enzo in the middle, like trying to kind of compact the midfield. I think it's going to be a cautious approach, and then if we get one, kind of against like what we did against Porto, hopefully more effort going forward, but I think it's going to be cautious and see if we can hit one on a counter or something. But I'm not optimistic. I think that knowing Mourinho in these games and how he looks at the league and the season, I feel like he's going to play very cautious, and I think a draw at the end will be what we walk away with.
All right, so you say a draw, Oscar?
I actually think Mourinho is made for bigger games. That's my opinion. I think we played Porto on a high. We gave Porto the first points that they lost was against us, or the only points they lost was against us. I think he's made for these games, and we're playing at home against Sporting, which is, I think it's in his blood to go out and win this game. So I'm with Jay. I think I'm gonna go to 2-1 for us. It'll be a close game, but I think he's gonna pull through.
Kenny?
Do you guys think this is a must-win?
If we lose, we're out.
Can't lose.
Yes.
You can't lose.
Yeah. So,
But not
again,
a must-win.
A tie would have hurt, but we can't lose.
You can't lose.
And Mourinho is Porto was the same thing. It was a can't lose.
Right.
1 point was better than no points.
We tied this game to Sporting, and Porto wins. Porto's out 8 points.
Yeah, no, 9.
8 because we
Three-game
get
swing.
We'll get one.
Yeah.
3 games.
Oh yeah.
So that's 8 points if we tie. That's basically saying goodbye to the league at mid-season.
Right. So, and that's why I asked. I don't think it's a must-win, but you can't lose. You're right.
No, it's a must-win because if Porto wins, we're 8 points behind.
I don't think it's a must-win. I think if we can get out of this with a tie, I think we're still fine.
I
I
agree.
don't know. I think 8 points behind Porto, especially because we already played them once. We only have 3 points to gain back on them. I think it's a must-win.
What round are we?
So
in?
you do think it's a must-win?
I do think it's a must-win. I think if we lose our
13th,
game, we're out. We're not champs.
So I would disagree. I don't think it's a must-win, but we definitely can't lose. I think if we can get out of it with a win, a tie, we'll be okay. So that's what I'm hoping for, because I just don't feel confident. I think we can. Yeah, I think of course, Benfica can win this game, but I'm not confident that we will win the game. So I think we will tie. I do think from a tactical standpoint, I think Benfica has like a weird situation in the midfield, because I do think Barreiro is a much better in games like this, and like games where we're playing against a team that isn't, defending with a low block. Barreiro's a much better player with the press and helping Pavlidis with that, first line press, which you would then say, well, what are you going to do with Rios? Which is, I think, the conundrum that you're facing at this point, because I do think Barreiro has helped the team in these type of matches much more than Rios. So it's a weird situation, but I don't know what the lineup will be. I don't know if we're going to get into it, but I would actually start Barreiro in the midfield with Enzo and Sudakov behind Pavlidis.
We'll get into that quickly, but what's your prediction?
1-1.
Okay. I'll go quickly. I agree with Jay and Oscar. I think these are the games that, and I read it somewhere earlier today where someone said this month of December is going to be where Mourinho proves his worth at Benfica, because we've got tough games coming up. Home game against Sporting in the current situation. After that win against Nacional, we've got Napoli coming up we've also got off the back of that win against Ajax. I think these are the games he's made for. Like this is one of those games where he would have circled on his calendar right at this time of the year. And the great thing is we have a week for this game, right? We didn't have a midweek game, right? We've got a full week. He gave the team a day off. And I think this weekend, I think Friday and the game against Napoli, I think is where we're going to see the Mourinho that we know. 2 home games, 2 big games. And these are the things that he loves, right? Is that attention, that focus. I'll be curious to see his press conference before the game, right? He's very good at taking the pressure off of his team in situations like this. So I'll be curious to see kind of what he says in the pre-match presser. But I think this is a game that, despite Sporting, I think is a better collective today for a variety of reasons. I think this is a game that Benfica wins mostly because of the guy that's sitting on the bench. I think he will get them prepped for this game in a way that very few can from a mental, psychological perspective. And I think that's going to be the big difference in this game. So I'll go with the 2-1 too. I think it's going to be an open game. I think it'll be a fun game to watch, hopefully. But I think that factor, I think, could be the determining factor for us. I'll go into the lineup here quickly just to close it off, and I'll run through it. I think there's only going to be one change, in my opinion, from what we saw against Nacional, but I'll get you guys' thoughts. So Trubin and the back line, I think, picks itself, right? Dal, Otamendi, Silva, and Dedic. Anyone have any objections there?
Say that again? Sorry.
So Trubin and then Dal, Otamendi, Silva, and Dedic.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally would put Araújo just because I like Araújo better for a game like this, where he attacks the ball more. So, but I know.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll make that change in this game. Yeah. Midfield. So against Nacional, we had Sudakov, Barrenechea, and Barreiro. Rios was suspended. In my opinion, I guess I'll do the front 5 or 6. Right, we had Barreiro, Barrenechea, Sudakov, Auschwitz, Regu, and Pavlidis. I think, in my opinion, the only change here is Rios comes in for Regu. He plays alongside Barrenechea. Sudakov ends up being tucked against the line, and Barreiro helps Pavlidis press Sporting coming out of the back.
Right wing. Yeah,
that's the only change I think that we're going to see, in my opinion. But does anyone have any objections there?
That could be it. It just sucks that Sudakov goes to the right.
Yeah, it does suck.
Agreed.
Mind you, Sudakov did exactly what you guys are saying with Barreiro, so wouldn't be surprised if he has Sudakov do that, because he did that against Porto, and they neutralized Porto's center back pairing.
Pavlidis and Sudakov.
So I wouldn't doubt if he makes Barreiro kind of like the freelance, kind of like moving around by himself, and when it comes to pushing, Sudakov move more central to kind of.
Did Barreiro play against Porto?
I think he came in as a sub, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. He didn't play. He didn't start. Lukavakio played.
And I think Barreiro does a great job at pressing.
At that press, yes.
Yeah, and he scores goals. He scores goals, and he's always there to tap.
He's he's a high energy guy. Like you want those type of players. But I think I said it on the group chat. Like you want those type of players at Benfica, but if you're relying on those type of players to be in and out and out starters every game. Then we got an issue with the roster,
especially in these matchups. Like against Nacional, he's void because we're playing in their half of the field anyways.
Correct.
But when we've got like a back and forth game like this, dude, Barreiro,
he covers so much
100%.
Ground.
He does that freelance role.
He did it against Ajax. Even the goal that he scored against
the goal, and the goal came from that. Yep.
Yeah, like of all players, he's going to play a give and go and bury it in the box in the final minutes.
Right.
Like you wouldn't expect that out of him.
Get behind the.
That's exactly why I said Barreiro might be tucked to the wing, because you would be having a Sudakov in the middle to find him doing that run behind the line where you wouldn't expect him.
We'll see. So, does anyone think any other changes? Does anyone think Regu starts?
No
chance.
No,
I don't think.
And he didn't impress either against Nacional.
He didn't look great, but he's had some moments. But I agree. Anyone think Manu comes in?
Is he healthy? Good to go?
He played a few minutes against Ajax.
He played against Ajax.
I'll be honest. We need to start making I don't want Mourinho to do subs like he did against Porto, 3 subs in the 90th minute. I think he needs to make subs like he did against Nacional. Start getting guys in fresh, because the subs he made against Nacional changed the game.
Yeah.
It all depends. It depends on the match, right? How it's going.
Do you see in a game, so against Sporting, right, where me and Kenny at least are saying the draw is better than a loss? Do you see?
Shit.
I don't see Mourinho making a Prestiani and an Andreas sub in the second half.
No. No, because they.
I'm sorry, that was too funny.
I don't get that fucking.
Oh shit!
That was a
He
good
didn't.
one.
He didn't verbalize it the way he was thinking about it.
No.
A draw is better than a loss. Oscar, no shit.
It was just a time.
But I know I get you, Bill. I got you. Bill.
I got you, Bill. I'm sorry. That was just.
Past my bedtime, dude. It's 10:30.
It's past my bedtime.
All right, so we've got draws here. We've got wins. No one's predicting a defeat.
We got hope, man. We got hope.
We've got Friday, 3:15 p.m. here in the States. We are going to do a live watch along here in the studio that we've completed behind me. It will be completed on Thursday. So I know Oscar's in Florida. He can't make it, but Jay and Kenny, if you want to join, I know the game is kind of midday, which makes it tricky, but Bill will likely be here, and our buddy Paul, Sporting fan, is going to join.
I'm out.
So we'll be watching it
can't.
here together. And if we lose, then you guys are going to witness a physical beatdown of Paul live on our stream. Me and Bill will tag team him. So join and tune in on. Jay, please ask for a new mic. You sound like you do tech support.
This shit was free, man. This shit was free.
So check us out on Friday. The Portuguese guys on the podcast, I think they're going to go live tomorrow as well. So check that out tomorrow. So Friday we'll be here, and then next week we'll be back again. But thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully Friday we've got a big win, big 3 points ahead of us, and hopefully we can get to those. Miguel, free to go. Gentlemen, as always, a pleasure. Have a good night. And of course, viva o Sport Lisboa e Benfica.
Vamos. Força.
Later, boys.